What's going on, guys? We are here with another 2 point breakdown video. Um, so I am going to go through today's schedule. Today we are going to go through all the games that have happened since we have last talked. Obviously, all the games have happened. Trying to get. I thought I had this up, but I guess I didn't. And then we will go straight into talking more about the football games um, and just showing what has happened through the the college football week 2 schedule. So the schedule is now going to be um, the very first day, so probably on a Tuesday, will be college, and then Thursday will be NFL, and then we might do other sports. If there's something really big, we'll probably just do like another separate video on. There is more videos hopefully coming out. We're going to do this every couple weeks. Don't know if we're going to do it every single week, but we are definitely going to do it almost every single other week, so we can get some videos out for y'all. Definitely go follow all the other channels. We have 2 Point Gaming, we have 2 Point Breakdown, and then follow us on X and Instagram also. Hope y'all can hear me. This is going to be very, very scuffed right now. The background is also, y'all are not very used to being a little bit more techy, you know what I'm saying? So first thing, what we're going to do, we're going to go talk about the one and only, the college football final schedule. I'm going to go just through some of the bigger ones that I think are the bigger games that has happened. Top 25 FBS games. I think whenever you're talking about big games, you have to talk about some of the bigger and best games in the world. I think the one game that people are not talking that much about is Alabama. Alabama's Bama. I know they went versus LA Monroe, but that is such a great game for them to get back on track. I think this is Alabama's not going to go to college football playoffs, but I definitely feel like they are going to go far. And I don't think they're going to lose that many games. And then you had some of like the games that I didn't even know would be interesting. You had Indiana versus Kennesaw State. 9-56. That's to me embarrassing as if I was an Indiana fan, because that game should not have been close at all. I know you should not have scored at all if you're Indiana. If you think Kennesaw State is going to score on you, that is embarrassing in my opinion, being 22. But I feel like that's still respectable as a NFL team. You have one of the other games where I was really surprised. UT is having a very big struggle couple weeks. If you see, Arch Manning did really decently. I definitely feel like he definitely played way better than a lot of people expected.
Hey
And
guys, right now we've got a handful of
I just don't know. I feel like whenever you're talking about Arch Manning, obviously there's going to be. I want to talk about that.
In case you didn't know,
about that a little bit later about Arch Manning, how I think he has played, and then we will see some highlights while I'm talking about it also. Texas Tech versus Kent State. I'm a Texas Tech fan if you don't know. Texas Tech did amazing versus Kent State. They blew them out. I think out of the first two games, they scored, I think, got scored on for the very first time in a while, since I think last year or something like that. You have Illinois and Duke. Illinois actually, you're really surprising to me. I totally forgot they were ranked number 9, and I feel like that's very, very interesting, being ranked number 9 and definitely still being. I feel like Illinois could be a really top contender here, but I feel like, and then the game that I feel like Iowa State should have went down on, Iowa State barely beat Iowa. I feel like that would have been pretty cool if Iowa beat Iowa State. just because Texas Tech fan, and they went down in the rankings. But that's a pretty good Penn State. I feel like I don't really know that much about that game. Penn State probably played a really decent game. That was a very great game to go. I don't know. I didn't watch it. I definitely feel like the score should have been more, but I feel like they also probably have backups in most of the time. So you're not going to expect anything really big versus backups. Then Florida State, after beating Alabama, goes to East Texas A&M, and Florida State gets it done. You know what I'm saying? And then Utah State versus A&M. A&M beats 44-22. I feel like that game is way too close, and I think that is their full starter in. So if that is a little embarrassing, Georgia beat Austin Play. Ohio State beat 70-0. That's what I expect every single team that plays a no ranked opponent. Tennessee 17. Tennessee beat East Tennessee State 72-17. They probably scored the last 17 points at the end of the game. Ole Miss and Kentucky. Ole Miss barely beats Kentucky. I feel like that is the one game that is the closest game that should not have happened. Oregon versus Oklahoma State, 69-3. Oklahoma State did not look good at any of those games. Missouri 42, Kansas 31. And then you have Clemson and Troy, 27-16. That game should not have been close at all. I feel like they probably have backups in, hopefully. And then the one game, Florida and South Florida comes up with a last-minute game-winning field goal. Miami beats 45, Auburn 42 versus Ball State, LSU La Tech 23-7, and then we'll talk about the Oklahoma game, and then Alabama LA Monroe. So the first thing that I personally want to talk about, and I think that's one of the biggest things whenever you're going to talk about some of the football games, is I think you got to talk about this Michigan game. I think Michigan played a really good team. I definitely feel like Michigan had a very disadvantaged somewhat whenever you're talking about Michigan. And
Deion Burks is down inside the 25. Michigan jumped off there.
Over late and the receiver not getting jammed at the line of scrimmage.
Two explosive pass plays on this opening drive for Mateer. Design run. Makes a move. Zips another tackle. Shows his maneuverability there. Picks up about 8.
Just a straight shot game.
Mateer running all the way. Hard to stop. Gone leg drag. You talked about the strength in the forward lead. They had success last year for this Oklahoma offense. Pop pass. Burks turns the corner. Deion Burks.
Look at that touchdown. Oklahoma starts at first. And honestly,
what a drive to start this game.
You're talking about a very not dominant kind of team. You're talking about Michigan that has a freshman QB. I think he's like 18 or something like that. Oklahoma just ran over that 19-year-old. I thought the 19-year-old was going to go. He played a okay game. He did 9-24, 142 yards. And talking about that, that's a very, very impressive game whenever you're talking about an 18-year-old quarterback. And then you have Justin Haynes that had 19 carries, 125 yards, 1 touchdown. And Dominic McLear, he had 3 receptions, 91 yards. And then you look at the QB play for Oklahoma. You have John Mater that had 270 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. And then he becomes the rushing leader, 74 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then you have Dylan Burks, and then you have 7 receptions for 101 yards and 1 touchdown. I feel like that is a very impressive stat, in my opinion. I definitely feel like that is very good. The scoring breakdown. By the way, we're going to have a game of like the week, what we need to track. And if you follow me on my on my on my X and everything, you're gonna see all like the games and all that. So like this week is Georgia at Tennessee. That is the game of the week. So we will be making quarter scores and all that, and that's going to be the focus game of the week too, where we're just going to show straight highlights and just how well that they played. I feel like definitely people are not going to talk about how Oklahoma played. Oklahoma, you can just see from this play, he just rocks him, and you see a different type of guy right there, and you can just tell he is not he's not in that mindset. Michigan is not in that mindset. Bryce Underwood, he is still 19, 18 years old, so he's not going to be top dog because he doesn't know what he's doing half the time, and I feel like a lot of people think that he should know, and it's crazy that he doesn't. I definitely feel like that is some of like the okay gameplay. I definitely don't think that this game is anything to look at. Oklahoma State is definitely a really good, Oklahoma is a really good team, and it definitely looks very, very well. Sorry, that was my bad. And ads, man. And ads. Ads. But yeah, I definitely feel like Oklahoma, I feel like this was a very good game between both of them. I definitely feel like Michigan was ranked kind of too low. I feel like they should have been at the 20 because how many people they have lost and how many young guys that they do have. I feel like he played excellent for the position that he was in. So I definitely feel like he is getting the opportunity he deserves. Okay. So then, one of the biggest things that I think was questionable after week 1 was Arch Manning. Arch Manning, I feel like played.
Players are now getting paid money.
Yes, as was very obvious by the amount of gold and diamonds around Trey Wisner's neck right there. If we haven't mentioned what happened on July 1st, the House versus NCAA settlement. 2nd and 15 after that tackle for loss. Play action. Arch, traffic again, as he's going to use his legs, of course, wildly skilled in doing so as he makes his way to the 45. It'll be 3rd down from there.
Right now, corner blitz. You're going to see it here. Baxter's able to pick it up, but Arch Manning's eyes come down right away. It's a good decision to go get what he can get. Now, it's still so early in the evaluation process for Arch Manning.
3rd down and 3. Manning, downfield, wide open, and here's Livingston. Parker Livingston, look at him go, just like that. Hook 'em.
Ringo's running a post outside. That takes 2 defenders and occupies them, and that allows the wheel route to be wide open up the boundary. 2 defenders in the back end occupied by 1 deep route, and they're worried about the speed of Wingo. There's a little bit of a slip, obviously, by the defender in San Jose State, and Livingston shows you the wheels. That already his 2nd receiving touchdown now in 2 games. This is a young player, only a redshirt freshman, but I think is going to make a lot of plays in this offense in the passing attack for Steve Sarkisian in Texas. It's nice to have the big fella that can run between the tackles.
See a little bit of rain coming down here in Austin. Here's Ryan Wingo as they utilize the quick game. So the 83-yard touchdown pass with a chance to score again. Quick strike to the end zone, and it's a touchdown to Livingston again.
You're looking at 3 different things that you can look. So his read is number 4, and then if you look, number 4 is kind of testing it. He's reading, and then you just see him just bombing one to the slant. I feel like a lot of people are not going to give him credit for that. I definitely feel like they should. But I definitely see. I don't see why. I definitely feel like that was very impressive as a QB. A lot of people saying that he doesn't deserve what he gets. Other things. I do want to talk about one of the biggest things is the AP top 25s are now out. Here they are. Let me go up because Twitter wants to mess up. So Ohio State's still number 1, Penn State's number 2, LSU's number 3, Oregon's number 4, Miami's number 5. I feel like all these definitely deserve to be up on there. Georgia, UT, Notre Dame, Illinois, and then Florida State. I don't know. I feel like Illinois is still in the middle between me. I definitely want to see them. South Carolina, Clemson, Oklahoma, Iowa State, Tennessee. Definitely think Oklahoma should have moved up because who they just played. I feel like that was playing Michigan is really good. And then A&M, Ole Miss, South Carolina, not Carolina, South Florida, Alabama, Utah. I feel like Alabama should definitely got moved down. I feel like if you lose to a non-ranked opponent and you're in the top 15, like bottom 15, I definitely feel like you should have got kicked out. But my opinion. Then Tech, guns up, Indiana, Michigan, Auburn, and Missouri. I feel like this is one of the worst rankings. I'm going to post my own on there too, by the way, of just like, because this one is trash. I just didn't have any time working with it if I want to get this posted out at time. But I feel like this definitely showed how we should expect this to look like. AP polls are always going to be kind of weird, but I definitely hope that it shows. So let's move to terms. This is going to be one of the last things that we do before we do a hard out and then also ends the video. One of the biggest things that I want to talk about is the Syracuse. Good old Syracuse. Syracuse had to run after the worst performance. I think one of the worst performances that I think a lot of people have seen. So let's go talk about this. Syracuse has what should be done if you go overtime to beat UConn? Only 20 yards, get Herb Brooks in there. Do they run after the Vols, beat the Fran Brown? We don't celebrate wins. We condition for the next one. I didn't watch this game. Don't know how it went. I definitely feel like it was not a terrible game. Let me see. I can see the score. It wasn't a bad game. Okay. Other things. Betting odds for the Heisman. This is the biggest thing that people are going to talk about. This is updated Heisman ranks. Garrett Nontismer, I think that's what he said. He has the betting odds. He is plus 750. He's around the 800 range in most betting websites. And then Lenore Sellers, he is 1,000, 900, 950. And then Carson Beck is 1,200, 1,000, 1,100. And then Arch Manning is 1,600, 1,200, 1,500, 1,300. Gupnett is 1,400, 1,600, 1,600, 1,400. And then Gunnar Stockton is 1,200, 1,200, 1,600, 2,000, 1,400. Now let's talk about some of like the bigger games for college football coming up. Obviously, like I did say, we are going to do. I already said it, but I already know y'all probably already forgotten. Some of the bigger games: Indiana versus Indiana State, especially what happened with Florida. I definitely feel like that is going to be a very interesting game to see if the same thing that happens to Florida is going to happen to Indiana. Alabama's versus Wisconsin. I feel like that's the one game I am going to say I feel like that's going to be an upset. I feel like it's going to be an upset. I feel like that's going to be an upset. Clemson versus Georgia Tech. I feel like Clemson's going to whoop them. Oklahoma, Temple. Oklahoma's going to beat them. Oregon, Northwestern. That's going to be a closer game than what people expect. I'm just going to say that. Central Michigan versus Michigan. Michigan. If Michigan beats them, I feel like they should not move up in ranks at all. I feel like if you get beat by a lower ranked opponent and you're still in the rankings and you beat a terrible team, yeah, I don't think you should get moved up. Auburn versus South Alabama. Auburn definitely feel like is hoping to do good, and I feel like they are. Penn State, that's going to be Georgia versus Tennessee. That's going to be a good game. Texas Tech versus Oregon State. That should be a blowout by 100 points. Missouri versus Louisiana, Raging Cajuns. Iowa State versus Air State. UTEP versus UT. Miami versus South Florida. And then Ohio versus Ohio State. Arkansas versus Ole Miss. I feel like that's going to be a great game. I feel like Ole Miss has a chance to lose that game. Illinois, Notre Dame, and A&M. There's actually very good like teams going against each other. Finally, LSU versus Florida. I feel like LSU. I'm not going to say it. I feel like LSU might have a chance to blow it because Florida's pissed. South Carolina versus Vanderbilt. I think Vanderbilt always has that one game where they beat a ranked opponent, and I think it might be South Carolina. Utah versus Wyoming. Going to be a very interesting game. I'm not going to call it. I am going to put my winner picks in on Twitter, so definitely follow me. I'm going to find a place to put it. Look in the description of this video. And I think that's really it. College football is in full swing. College football is looking amazing. I am so ready for more college football, and I'm definitely ready to see how everything's going to go. That's the thing that I want to look at. So I think that's going to be it for this video. Definitely keep lookout. Oh, y'all thought I forgot. I actually did forget. The game that we are going to be looking at, one of the bigger games. Georgia versus Tennessee. That's going to be the game that we are going. So I'm going to say who's going to win this game. And you already know who I'm going to pick. Let's go. Georgia. Georgia by a million. I'm just going to say that Georgia's going to beat Tennessee bad. I hope. Please. I think it's going to be a good game. I don't think they're going to get beat. I definitely feel like it's going to be a really great game, closer than what people expect. I definitely think Georgia's going to win it. All right. I'm going to say thank y'all for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe. I hope y'all like this style of content. We're about to go back. We're about to go do NFL. Hopefully video comes out Thursday. Definitely keep an eye on that. I want to say thank y'all for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Peace out, guys.